Wow, Warriors, huh? What do you think? King Dollar. King Dollar. I recommend liquidating all long dollar positions today. I did.
We just did the same thing over here.
All
Holy
right.
cow.
Yeah,
Wow.
and I shorted Dixie. That's where I'm starting, and buying a half position in Euro. So
Dale, we think you were in the Forex Analytics chat room. Holy
I
cow.
have mental telepathy, and I know what you guys are doing. Just I know what you're doing all the time, Blake. So yeah, anyway, no secrets. So yeah, okay, these were the targets, 101, 101 and a half or so. So now we'll see. Why don't we start off with I don't know,
Yep.
Ryan,
By the way, we
you
can't
said,
see your charts. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I'm going to do it now. So Ryan, tell me, do you really think, is this a for sure deal that we have with China?
Morning, Dale, and
How are you,
absolutely
buddy?
not.
That's what I thought. Okay. So basically, look, the market's so desperate that it's going to hang on to anything. I mean, all right. So here's the Dixie. These were one of the targets, filled this gap. Um, I'd get out of Canada. I was only looking for 140. I mean, what's another 20 pips? I'm not looking for 145 on this move. And this was just a little bear market rally. What I'll be looking for, oh, yeah, I guess gold can go both ways. This looks like it's setting up a descending triangle. Maybe it's, for gold bulls, it could just be an ABC down here, and then you go again, or this is wave 3 down, and we're going to have a big correction down towards 2,800, 2,700. But you notice that silver, look how silver's holding up in comparison. And this is a pretty big move in gold silver ratio. So it looks like it's topping up here. Could have another drive for 3. So I'm looking at some of these pre-openings in uh, the MAGAs, and I mean, they're all huge gaps. Here's where Amazon's going to open 15 higher. How about Apple? Okay, Apple's the weak sister. All right, so I'm gonna short Apple in the next 5, 6 days up here if we get some type of ABC. See how Meta looks. Not Meta, this could still just be a correction. There's no guarantee that this is the bottom, and especially Apple, because I keep staring at this. Okay, uh, you know, usually you don't see a market bottoming with that kind of momentum confirmation there. Here's Netflix. It's been, uh, a bunch of crappy reruns going to new highs. Uh, and NVIDIA, the chips, Microsoft, I think, it's not going to see these lows again. I know a guy looking for 600 Microsoft. Let's see what they're doing with the chips. Okay, I mean, I'm not that impressed. I've been talking about looking at selling NVIDIA around 124. We could be there this week. So let's start off with Ryan. So why don't you believe this deal's going to stick?
It's not that I don't believe it's going to stick. We just haven't got a deal. What deal have we got that they're going to talk? Okay, tariffs have come down for 90 days. Okay, which means if they don't get a deal in 90 days, they go up again.
How much have they
Um,
come down?
they come down. The US has reduced from 145 to 30. The Chinese have moved from 125 to 10. So they've come down for 90 days. Okay,
Okay.
plus all the other bits and bobs that are still ongoing. So we're in that situation. Are we heading towards a deal? Probably, because as I've been saying for months, the end game is to get deals done, not to have tariffs. Um, it was a surprise that they came to such a conclusion, positive conclusion,
So soon?
um, so soon. I was expecting nothing more than a yeah, we agree to talk down the line, and that was it. But so they've blown that expectation out the window. Hence the reaction in markets. But until we get a photo shoot with Trump and Xi or whoever signing a piece of paper agreeing
Yeah.
all the terms of a deal, we haven't got a deal.
Okay. Could it also be that the market is a little bit over exuberant because 30% tariffs still are going to be a problem for the economy and supply chain?
No, we've been heading this way for the last couple of weeks. I was talking about dollar yen, had it turned the corner when it was bouncing from 142 because there was no more bad news to send stocks lower, dollar lower, no more bad news. So we'd already turned that corner, and this is just a bit of extra relief. Oh, we've got a potential deal coming, but we've also got the market now cutting rate cut expectations for the Fed. So we're at 56 basis points for the rest of the year versus 75 on Friday.
Is that what the 10-year is saying here?
Yeah, again, that's a risk move. This is a big old risk move, but I think that's wrong for the market first and foremost. But you can't ignore what else is going on. We've got a surprise India-Pakistan ceasefire. We've got Russia and Ukraine talking about 30 days potential ceasefire. You got Hamas handing people over out of the blue. All of a sudden,
there's going to be peace in with Ukraine.
It's jelly and ice cream everywhere. And what's the market going to do with it? It's going to run with
Here's
it.
a cherry on top.
Yeah, exactly.
This?
So are we done?
I mean, why is crude up 250 with all this peace stuff going on? Any news behind this? It's a big one-day move with everything else getting hammered.
That's the deal. That's the China deal, because if they're unlocking, because their economy is supposedly locked up with all these tariffs, as is the US.
Economic growth.
The trade flows. It brings growth, and that's good for commodities. Industrial commodities and usable commodities per se. But I know you're looking for short silver. Stuff. Yeah, I know you're looking to short the dollar and stocks, or whatever. I think you might be right, but I think your timing is you got to be very careful with your timing. It's like this could run for 2 days, 3 days.
Oh could run all week.
You could run all week, or it might never get turned around for
Yeah, that's possible too.
Yeah, so it's you got to be careful where and when you want to go and fight something. You need to see some confirmed highs, I think, or lows, depending on what you're trading before you start sitting your stall out.
Okay. Good. Thanks, Brian.
No
good morning, Kate. Good morning, K-Man. Do you believe this risk rally? We've gapped up. I mean, it's one of the biggest updates I've seen. I don't know. Probably. Well, this was a pretty good one.
Yeah. Selectively, I do, because China, from their side, and that's what I was saying last week, it's going to be the Chinese response, which is going to be important, and they are more positive than what we may have feared. So yes, I do believe this risk rally to a certain extent. Because, as already said, the deal is not signed. Besen just put a bit of uncertainty in the minds of people again, saying that what they put forward as tariffs right now after the meeting is going to be the bottom. So there will still remain some tariffs. So there may be a second round of comments coming as well on that. But in the meantime, it's the market is forced to rethink once more what it was thinking last week. So I can see a bit more of this going on for perhaps a session today, tomorrow, and then we'll see where we go from there. Because nothing is the end of the story. But yeah, let's say that I'm not counter trading this yet. That is somewhere where I am right now. I had a couple of decent things on risk-wise, so that's okay. Where I do agree with you, and we were saying that already a couple of times, is on that gold-silver ratio. If you need less hedges against everything that can go wrong in gold, and you have some positives coming out of trade deals or trade negotiations, silver should, in theory, start to outperform gold. So that is where I'm at as well. The
Did
dollar
you
is one.
execute that trade, or you're just, just leaning towards buying silver because
I'm
of
leaning
this?
towards buying silver because I don't
Yeah,
yet. Gold has not broken levels yet,
yeah,
where I'm saying this is the end of the story.
okay.
So we
Where
don't know.
would you have levels for where your levels of interest in silver? Could
Yeah,
it be
30.
near this red dot here?
That's one, but already before, 31.
Hold on, man. I got to put some Clearasil on this. Hold on.
Sorry.
Okay. All right, there. It'll go away now.
Uh,
I don't know about you. I don't like having zits on my chart.
yeah.
So anyway, that's
Yeah,
61.8
I
there.
don't know if he picked up on the Clearasil joke, Dale, but
I
I
know.
did.
You
I
got to be
did.
an American. I know. I know. They
Yeah,
probably have different pimple
Do you
medicine
guys have
in
different
Europe.
pimple medication than Clearasil?
no,
He
I
he,
didn't pick up on
he
that one.
never had K never had any.
No, oh yes.
Ryan had a few.
No,
He's being
I
very
didn't pick
quiet
up
right
this.
now.
I was born an adult.
You were
Um,
born what?
He was
Adonis?
born
adult.
beautiful. He was born
Oh, okay.
beautiful.
As well, yeah. Yeah.
So where
Uh,
are your levels in silver, bro?
well, already 31 and a quarter, 31 and a half. And then, yeah, I'm not excluding this to have a look in the 30s, but that should be
Yeah,
enough right now. If we start to break below 30s now, or the other one the other day that 29 and a bit there. But if we start to break around below 30, something may be wrong.
yeah.
I wouldn't like it to really break below 30 anymore. I wouldn't
Yeah, it would
like it.
take it down here if that happened.
Yeah, and that's too big. That's too big a move, right?
Yeah,
To be on the train. Then we really would have to wait for this to happen. But no, yeah, low
okay.
31s. I'm looking to add. I've been playing around with what I have. Was pretty cool because 33 and a quarter was capping, so I let some of it go, bought it back today just below 32, so just trading it in and out. Commodity currencies, we stopped, well, we had that little rally on the Aussie dollar above 64.40 again, but we stopped dead, and
Yeah,
I I'm reluctant to really dive too much into them. I would have said like you have to buy Aussie dips, but where's the dip?
here, halfway. If it gets there,
Yeah,
I'll try it.
where what?
Halfway,
Halfway.
50% correction, I'd buy it.
Oh, low 62s.
Yeah,
Oh, that's a while away.
yeah.
Uh,
It could be a day away. The way
yeah,
these
could
markets
be,
are trading now.
could be.
Anyway, I would look to buy some type of fib retracement. It's actually
Yeah.
the relative strength.
Mm,
So it's
okay.
not up with risk on, but it's holding up the best. Uh, okay. USD MEX popping. Blake, gonna get another chance up at 20.
I guess, I have like zero interest in the dollar mex right now. I mean, I
Okay.
do if we got up there, but it's like there's so many moves everywhere else. Like this dollar mex isn't really moving much, and where you're getting, massive moves, obviously, in the euro and the Aussie and the yen. So it's like I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I would short
Yeah,
it
you're
if it
not.
got if it got back up there.
Canada, you doing anything with this stuff?
We have there's an intraday
And
bull
I'll give
flag.
you
Just
my.
pull up a 4 hour chart. You can actually see it on the 4 hour chart.
Okay, because I was
It's a
just gonna
it's a bull flag
give
pattern.
them
It
to you.
it points to
Yes.
140.30. And the
All right.
we've posted the charts since Friday, and so
Yeah.
that flag pattern goes a little bit further. So, the natural instinct would be here to short it at 140, but like Ryan said, you don't know. These things
No.
can go for another couple of days, before they peter out. So
But you could take a piece off up here
yeah, if
if you
you're
were
long
long.
from last week like you
Yeah.
were, yeah, I would
In
I
there.
would be letting some go up here. Sure.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, this yields have been pretty confusing, don't you think? I mean, they look good, they look bad, they look good, they look bad.
Yeah.
What do you
Wait,
think?
that
I
sounds
mean,
like our news flow.
huh?
It sounds like our news flow. It sounds
Sounds
just
like-
like the China-US trade war. Looks good, looks bad, looks bad, looks good.
Look at that
this,
gap at 440 on the 10-year. I mean, it looks like it wants to blow at least to take out this high.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, if you guys believe, and I do, that inflation is going to be an issue, even if it's from, just a burp in inflation, and we're gonna, I'm assuming yields are going to go up, and it's, I mean, the dollar has been reciprocal to this dollar, this 10-year yield move, but. Man, I agree with you, Dale. It's a hard one to read as far as yields go, and I think we'll have a breakout soon, or a breakdown. So, but
There's
you
the
want me to take over the
30-year.
charts here?
Yeah, go ahead. There's the 30-year. I mean, the 20
Yeah.
TLT doesn't look so great either.
Right. And I was just pulling it up, Dale. Here's the the ZNs. I mean, we are going to be nearing some pretty good support here. So if the 10-year does find some support here, obviously yields will come back down. But how about this move in the euro? Okay, so I want to talk about this really quick. We broke obviously this channel. Everybody was looking at the channel. I mean, I woke up this morning and I was surprised. Now I shorted the euro last night at 112.20, and I got up this morning. And if you're in the Forex Analytics chat room, you can see I closed it out at 110.85. I opened that position.
Nice.
Yeah, I opened it last night.
I love when that happens.
Well, yeah, the only problem is I really wanted to add below 112. I just didn't, I said it in the week ahead video. I didn't put an order out after all the news flow over the weekend. I didn't put it out while I was sleeping because, yeah, I mean, it's hard to be aggressive when you're actually sleeping. So in order to sleep, so I shorted it last night. I wanted to add below 112. I just didn't have the stomach to do that while I was sleeping. So closed out the position this morning at 113, or excuse me, at 110.85. And I've turned around and gone long, and everybody else, obviously, all the European traders, like you got K-Man and Ryan and DK and Giannis, everybody's posting their stuff here. And if you're not in the Forex Analytics chat room, you should be. But all those now that we've gotten here, Ryan just said something really important. Ryan, you want to be real careful about being on the long side down here, don't you? Or short dollars.
Yeah, at the moment, yeah, you got to be very careful. Pick your spots. For me, euro dollar 110.40. That's a prior support resistance level. It's a 38.2 of the year's move. We've got the 55 DMA just below it as well. At, I think 13 or 23 or something. So there's a bit of confluence there. That's where the first real test of this move happens. But you just got to pick your spots. There's no good having 10 trades and losing 10 pips a trade because you then got to make one trade of 100 pips just to break even. So pick your spots.
So let me I'm going to take you guys back a couple of weeks ago when we were looking at this head and shoulder pattern with the euro, and this is before obviously we were about here when I talked about this, and I want you guys to think. I want you guys to think this through really fast. I talked about it on the trade-off show on the Pepperstone trade-off show 2 weeks ago. I talked about it on the week ahead video, not only this weekend, but the previous weekend and the weekend before that. So the last 3 weeks on the week ahead video, I talked about a head and shoulder pattern. Head and shoulder patterns, Dale, you could confirm this. They're the most unreliable patterns, completion wise. The setups look great when you have a setup that looks like this, but the chances
the right
of
shoulder lasted too long. Is that what kind of
or you go like this, right? When you have a head and shoulder pattern, like in this example, it actually points to 109.50, 109.20. I'm sorry. That's where the neck to head. It's actually I drew that too big. It's actually a little less than that. So it's actually 109.50. That's where we would complete, which basically takes
it had a double right shoulder, which I don't know if you call them that. I call them Quasimodo formation.
Yeah, well, first of all,
It's a
I
hunch
think it was
there.
a pretty severe breakdown. The target's 109.50. Everybody's going to be looking at 109.50. It's a 50% retracement. But what I'm really more in tune with, and the reason why I'm buying euros down here, is because it finally reached the trend line, and this is why I said, hey, we're not gonna complete the head and shoulder pattern. If you take that 160 euro all-time high and you draw a trend line from the 160 level all the way through, here's the 2021 highs, the highs in August, and
Pulled back to the breakout.
yeah, we came right to the trend line today.
Okay.
Today.
Yeah.
So I'm
Okay.
buying here.
Okay.
I have a feeling, and I'm already long. If you're in the Forex Analytics chat room, you know I started buying about 10 minutes ago, actually at 4:27. That was actually less than an hour ago. So my average is actually 10.97, as you can see right here. I'm getting long the euro, and can it go lower? Like Ryan said, I agree. You know, we could see lower levels, maybe 110.50 or so. I've got more orders to add to my euro down there, but I've been looking to get long this 38% retracement, which is basically 110.50, and we're getting really damn close. So I am sticking my flag in here on the long side, and I've been planning this trade for a couple of weeks. Now that we're here, I'm gonna trade my plan. So, and I agree with what everybody's saying this morning, and I will concur with Ryan. We know what we know right now, and yeah, there's going to be a cooling off period with China. Is there a deal? Has there been a photo op? Have Xi and Trump signed a deal? Have they met in person? No, and there's a lot of things that could happen and go right and go wrong from here. I have to imagine that we haven't heard the last of the China-US trade war, and there's a lot that's going to happen over the next 90 days. So just remember, just a couple of weeks ago, the euro is trading at 116. The Economist said, the death of the
120.
dollar.
Right.
The dollar's going up in flames. Blah blah blah. That was literally 500 pips ago, just a couple of weeks ago. So
Blake, something else. We
yeah.
have more evidence again today on something we're trying to get people to reverse their paradigm because of how long weak dollar was risk on, that it was a strong dollar, or at least a stable dollar until today, that occurred simultaneously with a 1 week lag to the rally that we've had in equities. Therefore, if we're looking to sell the dollar here, and I believe there's another new low under that recent low, uh, that should be negative for stocks when that begins to happen. Maybe not as negative for a break to new lows, but if the dollar's going to new lows, I don't think I want to be long stocks into that scenario. It would have to prove to me that the paradigm that's been working for about 90 days now is detaching. So if you're a dollar bear on this dollar rally, I don't know how bullish you could stay on the stock market, because if we get a break to new lows in Dixie and euro is going to 117, I don't think that's going to be bullish for risk.
Yeah, it's all I know is right now we are seeing a short mother hell of a squeeze in equities, and everybody should know this, but this is I want to say this is a different situation, but bear market rallies are very convincing. This has been very convincing. We blew past the 200 DMA, we blew past the 618. We're closing in on the 78% retracement now. I mean, and then you look, and I want to point this out too really quick, because if you're in the S&P room, you've seen this. Here's the S&P room. Just we've had this European US divergence, right? You're going to see that unwind right now. So if you're long DAX, you need to be really careful, because we're probably a false breakout at new all-time highs, and we're probably going to slip here in the DAX, and you're going to see the US markets outperform. So this is going to be a false breakout in the DAX. I would not be long European equities right at this moment in time, because you're going to see that complete unwind over the next maybe week or two. Now, where does that put the S&P? I don't know if I'd want to short it, but man, this is like, anybody that's short they're waking up getting squeezed this morning. Period. End of story. And we probably have at least a couple more days of this, unless we get some sort of news, some headline that comes out from China or something today. I would assume that S&P continues to squeeze, and you're going to see the unwind of European stocks, Asian stocks. You're going to see that all that divergence converge again. But where does that put the S&P? I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe the underside of this trend line. We might actually go to all-time highs again. I don't know. In that crazy, Dale, like we were literally, I mean, this is just we've actually done a
48 was our
20%
level.
rally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
It was hard to buy it down there though. 48 was our level going into it. And I'll tell you, I had that number for months and I didn't buy it down there.
Yeah, you did, Dale. You had it for months. You were like, and I remember when you said 4,800, I'm like, he's smoking crack right now. But okay,
No,
I got
just a vape.
No, yeah, just a vape right now. You had the was that well, what strand was that, Dale? Tell me.
Yeah.
I'm just so some people
sativa.
get what I just said.
Look, Brandon's a pothead. Go ahead.
Anyway,
It's legal now.
It is legal, and yeah, especially in California.
Do your charts look different, Brand? I'm kidding. Anyway,
hey, we have a few minutes. I see Steve is here. Steve, what do you make of this craziness that over the weekend?
It's an interesting move. It's interesting moves. It's interesting moves that we're seeing. I want to see, if there's going to be follow through, but it definitely, looks like we're gaining some momentum. Finally.
So what are you thinking here? I mean, do you think we're gonna continue higher? Do you buy the dollar? You sell the dollar? Is gold the short now? Because gold looks like it's coming out of a triangle. I mean, what do you think you should be doing here as a trader?
It's definitely a good opportunity for gold to finally correct lower. There's no question about that. I mean, it's long overdue.
Right. What do you think about the dollar here?
Dollar has started breaking some important levels since last week. But, this move today proves that, it's not a coincidence, right?
Right. And I mean, the 38% retracement is coming up. It's about 102.60, so it's not very far away.
Yep.
All right. Well, so you think the dollar could stretch a little bit further is what I'm gathering. Steve, I just realized that we have our guest. She's got her camera on. So before we get to your interview, Dale, let me ask Ryan and K-Man. I know you guys post everything in the Forex Analytics trades room. And guys, if you're not in the Forex Analytics trades room, take advantage of, or in the Forex Analytics chat room, just in general, take advantage of the liberation offer that we have right now. You can lock in prices and get grandfathered in prices from 5 years ago. So take advantage of that. That's why we dropped it by 40% for our month-to-month subscription. But Ryan, what are you going to be trading today? What are you doing?
Well, I'm going to be managing my dollar yen longs. I've been up 340 pips on those.
Woo!
Last week. So yeah, I'm going to see if it continues. 148.80 to 149.40-ish is my next level that are up around the 50 fib of the year's move. And yeah, it's
there you go. And it's right next to the 200 DMA,
right next to the 200 DMA and a former level at 148.80s. So yeah, big level up there. That's my test point if we get there.
What a monster trade. Well done. K-Man, before we go, what are you looking to trade today?
Yeah, yen is one of them. I'm still short euro sterling. If you look at the difference between how Europe and the UK are being looked upon, I still think euro sterling could go on to the next 83 handle. Yeah, looking to see where silver can get down to. Interested there as well to add, and that's about it really. For those, whoops, what is all
Someone
that
went
about?
poing.
Well, for those are watching clouds, the dollar yen just entered the daily cloud, and we know that Japanese are watching that. Around 147.90, maybe interesting level to watch on the for the close today.
All right. And so there we just entered into the cloud. He's like right up here is going to be the upper end of the cloud. So it'll be an interesting move, especially watching the Ichimoku clouds and what the dollar is doing. So great trading, guys. And I'm going to look forward to following everything you guys are doing in the Forex Analytics chat room and in the trades room. So make sure that you guys join us there. Remember the liberation offer. It's limited, and we're gonna, now that things are getting better with the US and China, we might be pulling that offer pretty soon. So with that being said, Dale, have a great interview, and thanks everybody for being with us today. And we'll see you guys on the Morning Edge, which is a private show in about 45 minutes with Steve and I. So we'll see you guys there.
All right. Well, thanks, Blake. Ryan came in.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day trading, and yeah, get liberated. If you're in trading bondage and you're right the market, wrong the trade, and you're having trouble with money risk management or coming up with ideas, find a community. It may be a little subjective. A lot of great traders here, concentration of good traders, and today we have a new guest that's going to be part of our rotation. Margot Amala is with us. Margot does a lot of astro stuff, although she also understands classical pattern recognition. And wow, Margot, what a day to have you. I mean, look at that board. Happy days are here again, right? Welcome. I can't hear you. Oh, I think.
There we go.
All right. Thank you.
Hey, Dale, how you doing?
Good. How was your trip in Tucson? Do you like that 100-degree temperature?
You know, it was lovely actually.
Really?
It gets warm in the afternoon, but it was a great time of year to be there.
Okay.
A little bit of nice relief I'm from the Pacific Northwest, and we get a lot of rain here. So.
Oh yeah. Did you go to school down there? Or you just have friends down there, or? Because I know Tucson.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I've studied with Larry Pesavento a little bit.
Oh, okay. I know Larry.
Yeah, he's great. And so
he's still around?
He is. Yeah, we spent the day on Friday live trading together. He's a friend of mutual friend down there. Nice. And then just relaxed the rest of the time.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Larry's one of the old masters.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's a real it's
but
very
you know what?
You're
one of the up and coming masters. And you know what? What's interesting about that? You take a vacation to get better at your craft. I know 100%. There was some fun there, but you said I'm on an adventure, but it was also a mission to get tuned up with Larry. So a lot of people will not sacrifice their vacations to learn how to trade. There's just a message in it. So what I'm interested in now, Margot, is with all these huge moves and the belief that there's a deal, dollar took off, metals getting smashed. Do you have any significant windows of time coming up in the next several days where it's possible that this rally in equities, whether we're ever going to see 4,800 again, might be due for at least some type of correction or retracement?
Yeah, definitely. I actually think that we are approaching the time window here. I have some pretty specific dates on the U.S. equity markets. We have passed. We're in the weekly time zone for
a pivot. Share your screen.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and share my screen here.
Okay.
Let's see. All right.
Okay,
we
we've
go.
got
Hold on.
KuCoin.
Yeah.
I heard from someone who's been pretty good in Bitcoin, and that something about Bitcoin dominance, and there's going to be a heck of an altcoin season coming up. Is that why you're looking at things like Bootcoin, or are you tuned into the altcoins?
I have a few altcoins and I trade the altcoins a little bit. I have had my eyes on Ethereum. It was definitely due for that big pump that we got the other day. And I do think that that's just only getting started. Let's see here real quick. We'll just talk about Bitcoin since we kind of got that one up.
Okay.
Bitcoin has been one of the best trade setups that we've had in my Discord this year. So we were buying Bitcoin back here at the low. And this has been my forecast arrow since, about right here the week of April 14th. And we just hit major target 103.750. And that target is based on what it's a time trades indicator that is based on Fibonacci growth spirals. And so this 103, you can see how important this level is here. Every time we hit one of these levels, it rarely ever goes through it on the first try. So here we are, and this is the third try. So I do think we have a little bit more upside potential in Bitcoin, potentially into the summer. But I also think that we are due here for a little bit of at least a daily period of consolidation on Bitcoin right now. And then also in the bigger picture on Bitcoin, we are in what's called a blood moon cycle. And I made a YouTube video if people are interested in learning more about what that means. But essentially, Bitcoin has a 100% pattern historically of forming monthly downtrends during blood moon cycles. And the blood moon cycle lasts through March of 2026. So the last blood moon cycle was during the blow off top back here in 2021. This was a blood moon cycle right here. And so this is kind of the price action that I'm looking for actually for this period of time. So I think it's very possible that we get new all-time highs, but I think if we get new all-time highs, it's also very possible that we might get a rejection at that point.
That probably spells, since a lot of people use Bitcoin as a measure of liquidity, not the most bullish picture for NASDAQ stocks, if this is what you're looking
so
for.
If we take a look at the NASDAQ on the weekly, this, obviously we've had a really nice rally. And again, in my Discord room, we were looking for a V-shaped recovery, or I was looking for a V-shaped recovery despite the sentiment, because we're in a fractal cycle based on the 2020 or the COVID year. And, I actually don't have it loaded up here, but what is really brilliant and a highly worthy exercise would be to run a side-by-side window of the daily price action from the COVID dump to the 2025 dump and recovery. There's incredible correlations. On the NASDAQ,
was the percentage drop the same?
The percentage drop was the percentage drop was almost identical. It was like
20%,
26% and a few 26 point something. And then the drop here in 2025 lasted a little longer. It was a couple weeks longer than the one in 2020. But the price pattern on the daily, which, like I said, I don't have it pulled up right now, and the recovery is quite literally almost identical. And it's really brilliant. There's a lot of there's correlations to planetary cycles going on from 2020 right now. So that's kind of what had me keeping my eye on that. But this is the NASDAQ on the weekly right now. And as you can see, so these little markers here are my time cycle measurements, and I'm just measuring planetary cycles. And they have a pretty high degree of accuracy. When they cluster together like this, then that typically means we get a volatile period, and it'll often form a bottom. So we've got two here striking this week, and each one of these pivots gets a 1 week on either side of it, plus or minus 1 week orb of influence.
Okay. Right.
so we're bumping into this cluster here this week. So these green bars here, this is what I call an analog, and it is a projection of future price action based on a historical planetary cycle. And as you can see, it's working really well. This was a prior analog. It's really just about finding the proper fractal time cycle that we're in, and then projecting it forward. And so you can see here that this suggests we have a little bit more upside to go, but it also suggests that we have a little maybe period of consolidation incoming this week.
Okay.
If we take a look on the daily, we just completed this major ABCD pattern here.
Okay.
So I'm both.
Today's opening would complete it.
Yeah.
A sharply higher opening.
Exactly. We've exceeded it a little bit at this time. So we'll see. We'll see if there's any change in story today, right? Because that's kind of been the name of the game. It's we say one thing and then we say another. So we'll see what plays out.
I saw another
today.
cluster on your chart in August, and I know a lot of guys are looking for highs in August from an April low to an August high. Are you thinking that the market's okay through the summer until late summer, fall?
So I have June 2nd to June 9th coming up as a pretty major pivot. It's like coming up on the monthly chart. So that's very significant. And so you can see here that we have kind of like a little, we've got this is actually, this is a second one, but I don't have my line dropped here. Let me drop my line for June 2nd. So the tag's not showing right now. I don't have it on this chart, but we have a monthly measurement on June 2nd that comes in, and that monthly measurements get a 2 to 3 week orb. So we'll be watching June closely, but after that, and so that's either going to be a significant high or low there, and a high or low, not a high or low. And then, the next set of pivots that we start getting is in late July. So I do think that we have a move coming, and what I've got my eyes on right now is this daily inverse head and shoulders setup here.
Yeah, it does look like that.
And so if we get some healthy daily consolidation here and we hold, this, let's see, what is this level there? 19,345.75. I'm definitely looking back up to the all-time high. And if you look back to the COVID cycle, we just kept going. Relentlessly.
I think this would be the fastest. The declines may have been similar in speed. I'm not sure, but the recovery to new highs, I think, would be faster here if we're going to do it in the next 30 days than the recovery to new highs in COVID, right? It's even faster.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know, I feel like it's really a wild card right now as far as what happens with this pullback. And there's a lot of volatility, of course, in the tariff news and in everything, economic that's going on right now. But additionally, planetary cycle wise right now, just specifically this week, we have some really significant major volatility planetary cycles going on. So on Wednesday, we have 4 major heliocentric planetary events, and the heliocentric perspective is looking at where the planets are in the sky from the sun's perspective. And so we have 4 aspects coming together on Wednesday. And one of those is the planet of Jupiter making a square to the planet of Neptune, and then also making its sign change into the sign of Cancer. And the sign of Cancer is really important in the US equity markets because the United States Declaration of Independence chart, which is what many of us use as the United States natal chart, has 4 planets consolidated in the sign of Cancer: the sun, the sun, Mercury, Venus, and Jupiter. And the ascendant of the New York Stock Exchange natal chart, and I'm probably going into maybe too much technical detail for some people, but it sits at 14 degrees Cancer, which is halfway through the transit of that sign. And whenever any planet crosses over that, we get really strong moves. And so I've actually gone back and taken a look at the Jupiter transit the sign of Cancer, all the way back to 1900. And there is a strong historical pattern to a very significant move during that period. And so and that move is actually not always up. It seems like it would be bullish, but it's about 50-50. So that's kind of, I feel like where we're at is once we get into early June, and we determine our direction, I think we're going to get a pretty strong directional move there for a period of time, and then we have another major planetary event that happens between August and October of this year. So that's what I've kind of got my eyes on as far as like cycles go. And then, the weekly and the daily outlook on the NASDAQ is that we hit a pivot today on the daily. And so I'm thinking that this is a pivot high that we hit today. Then our next daily comes Friday. So
this week.
I'm looking to see if we put in a pivot high today. Of course, that has to get confirmed by price action. I never trade a time cycle pivot in a vacuum. So that's what I'm looking for.
You ever traded when you're vacuuming?
When I'm in. Yeah.
A very serious question. Okay, so gold is getting hit. The dollar. My work has been looking for about 101.5. I've told people to liquidate all long dollar positions. I'm starting to sell into the Dixie here.
Yeah.
Am I crazy?
Nope.
and have you noticed, though, Margot? We were talking about it on the show, that the old paradigm used to be weak dollar, risk on.
Yep.
And now it's weak dollar, capital outflows from the dollar into other countries, repatriation. So that kind of lines up with what you're saying. If the dollar peaks in here, it should not, and heads down to new lows, takes out that 97.80 or whatever it was, it goes to 96 or 95. That should, wouldn't you interpret that as being negative for the market?
I would, yeah. And so we have those major events on Wednesday. We also have another set of major geocentric events on Saturday. And those events contain the planet Uranus, and the planet Uranus is correlated to strong unexpected moves. And so all of the planets involved, Jupiter makes everything bigger. Neptune is correlated to buying and selling hysteria in the markets. And then Uranus is sudden unexpected moves. So this week, I think everybody really needs to be ready for anything. That's the attitude I'm going into this week with. But this is the dollar on the monthly, and I just want to point this out because this is a really interesting pattern that we get. This is the planet Pluto. Pluto rules debt, and so we have a pretty strong correlation to monthly turns around the Pluto's retrograde and direct cycle. And Pluto just stationed retrograde on the 5th of May last week. And so we're in this time band for a turn on Pluto, or I mean on Pluto, on the dollar. However, if we zoom into the weekly, I have these, time cycle measurements on the weekly, and we just passed over a cluster of them last week, which puts us in orb for a pivot high. So that's what I'm watching for. This move up definitely helped move things along a little bit, because before that we were rejecting off of the 29-day VTL, which was really not bullish. But at this point now we're above it. So I think we gauge the price action, but I agree with you. I do think a retest of the lows may be in order. And I'm watching this giant megaphone pattern that's been going on.
Where does it come in on the bottom for you?
For me, depending on when we get there, this line here is forecasts one of my next pivots, and that is June 9th. And that aligns with the early June dates I'm getting. And so if we were to test the low of the megaphone there, that would be about 97.29.
Okay. All right. Interesting look. And can you imagine already, but I don't know if it shifted much, but this was the positioning wise, COT, the most bearish dollar positions that we've had in many years. So the whole world is bearish a dollar. So can you imagine how bearish it'll be if we just take out the low by 100 or so and then turn
Well,
again?
absolutely. I mean, because so this is the other one of the other tools I use. I use Hearst time cycles. And
Okay.
so yep, the dollar just completed its 20-week cycle low here. And that was a very long running 20-week cycle. It ran 28 bars. The dollar does tend to run long. So if we project this forward, which I haven't done just yet, but let's do it now. Bring this back to 20. That gives us the next cycle low due, and there's your August date, August 25th. And that gets these 20-week cycles, I give a 4 to 6 week orb. Obviously, sometimes they run long.
Okay.
But they're pretty standard, 20 to 24, generally speaking. So that puts us into August, September. And then, you know, we're in this crucial time band here of the cycle, because the first 20, 25% of almost any cycle is going to be up, because that's how you identify the cycle, by the cycle low. So we got the low and now we move up. This is decision time. Are we going to make a, which translation are we going to get? Are we going to get left translation or right translation? If we put in a high here, we could come down.
Yeah.
And right. And then that would be an ugly cycle. So, so this is really, we're in an important phase here in the dollar to see if we're going to hold this low or not.
Okay, I wanted to ask you, maybe we could wrap it with WTI, and if you have any war cycles, is Trump or Netanyahu going to go into Iran? You showing any war cycles? A lot of people, like, we're up $2.50 today, and people are attributing it to, yeah, there'll be economic growth because of the deal. You know, economies won't be as hindered by 30% tariffs, which still sound pretty high, but people are celebrating it. What do you have going on here? And I think we talked a while ago when you had the low due.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we hit our low perfectly. That was a beautiful double bottom. And this, oh, I feel like I have to sneeze. Sorry. Excuse me.
God bless you.
So I have us a high coming in on the weekly chart on oil in the next 1 to 2 weeks. So that fits along with looking for that high in the equity markets too. And then I have some further consolidation coming. And so this is like a projected forward analog here. And it could flip. It could go the other way. I haven't actually completed this cycle yet. But what I can tell everybody, so the pivot day that I have, or the pivot week I have that I'm looking for on oil, will be the week of the 19th, which is next week, plus or minus 1 week. And then the next really major point to be looking for a weekly turn in oil is going to be the week of June 30th. There is a fantastic correlation to weekly turns with nice moves with the planet Neptune and its declination cycle. You can see here's one, very beautiful, really nice. So I would definitely drop a timeline on your chart for the 30th of June, and whichever direction it's moving into the 30th of June, you'll fade it the other way.
Okay. War cycle, anything?
War cycle? Oh, yeah. Well, yes. I mean, the outer planetary, there's a major outer planetary shift going on right now. And so multiple of the outer planets are changing signs, and the signs that they're changing into are all correlated to major war cycles in the United States. So I don't want to be a doomsayer, but specifically Uranus and Gemini has 100% correlation since the inception of the United States with major wars, World War II, you know, you would just go all the way back, the Civil War, and Neptune in Aries is correlated to the Civil War. And so, you know, this is a time period where I do expect to see escalating world conflict over the next few years. Okay.
Margot Amala, everyone, you want to show how people could get a hold of you, Margot, now that you've, you know, shown what you do, and because I have some questions about, you know, the different color bars and what they mean. So some people may want to reach you. So.
Yeah, definitely. You can find me on my website at margoamala.com, and there are links to all of my sources there. Also in my Twitter profile, in the link tree there, you can find links to my Discord, my Patreon, and then I also do personalized financial astrology and just also, you know, standard astrology, personal astrology readings that you can book through my website.
Okay, Margo, thanks so much for just at the last minute stepping up, and I've been wanting for a while to introduce you to the community here, and there are some people that really enjoy astro, and you know the others, they think we're kooks, right? So anyway, from one kook to another, Margo,
Thank you, Dale.
thank my trading warrior sister, Margo Amala.
It's
Follow
always
her
a
on
pleasure.
X. Yeah,
Yep.
follow her on X at Margo. Is there an underscore Amala
It
on
is.
your
Yep.
hand? And
Yep.
and go to this website if you have an interest in this. You know, whoever, I don't know what your beliefs are, but whatever or whoever created this universe had an intelligence, and they are a master mathematician. So everything
Agreed.
affects everything. You throw a pebble into the pond and you can't stop the ripples. So everyone have a great day. Trade careful. Let your trades breathe. And I'll see you tomorrow for Turnaround Tuesday, and you could join the team in 20 minutes on the Morning Edge. People are thanking you, Margo.
Thank you, Dale. Thank you, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here.
All right. See
All
you,
right.
Margo. All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right. See everyone. Adios. Don't just count your pips. What do you count?
Your blessings.
Come on. That's right. Everyone knows. All right. All right. Get a calculator. All right. Adios, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.